Okay, perfect. So, really, it's really very nice to meet you. Thank you for your beautiful movie, and thank you to be available for this conversation.
Thank you.
First of all, how do I pronounce your name? Juho Kuosmanen?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So first of all, I would like to ask you some question about how you decided to afford this story from the book. I know you changed a lot the book and you didn't follow it very precisely, but you decided to change something. And so how did you find this story and how did you decide to use it?
Well, this book was published like around 10 years ago. And I think the starting point why I was so interested about it was, as usual, it was the characters and the landscape. And here especially the train, because in the book there are also lots of things happening in the like in different time levels in different places, but I wanted to focus on this train, right? And I was also very interested to deal this idea of connection, which is not like romantic love, but just like strong connection between two strangers.
Yeah.
And I think when we started to adapt the book, we just first of all we put things aside that were not that interesting for us, and then these latest changes were like changing track from Mongolia to Murmansk and all those, and also changing the decade from 80s to 90s. They were pretty late changes, like during the location scouting and like already like in the pre-production phase.
So you decided to let apart the Sovietic backdrop that is present in the book, for instance.
Yes, there was quite many reasons for it. First of all, this film is about small things, like small. This connection is so. I think, in a way, it's a small thing, and at the same time, it's really a big thing. But if you put something like Soviet Union on the same story, it just steals so much focus.
Yeah.
I didn't want to involve it. I wanted to focus on these characters.
Yeah, on the people.
And yeah, on the people. And in the novel, it's more, the Soviet Union is more like a bigger part of the content. But in this film, when we started to do the adaptation, we were just like narrowing or focusing the content to these two characters, to these people. And then when we were doing the location scouting, and I realized that actually it would be easier, cheaper, and to set this film in the late 90s rather than 80s. And then I started to think, okay, what would it actually change? And I felt that all the changes that it would make would be actually just good, because already in that moment, the Soviet Union was kind of put aside from our script.
And the choice of this Siberian landscape with all the ice, the cold weather, the storm, etc. Was it necessary for you, maybe also for this very deep existential side of the story, or for some other reasons?
Well, the landscape that the novel takes place is actually the Trans-Siberian track, and it ends in the Mongolian desert. And I like this Arctic part of the train journey, but I didn't really like the ending in the Mongolia, and that's why we changed the track to this Murmansk track. And I think it's this cold weather and this like really Arctic landscape. It's good because of the contrast. It gives so much contrast to this warm feeling that they are having between themselves. And I believe that in film, if you want to make something visible, you need to use contrast. There is no there is no warm without the cold background.
It's a sort of strange love story because they connecting, they also discover a lot about themselves. It's more a journey through their life than through love.
Yes, I think it's I think one of the main questions in the film is what is love? What does it actually mean? Because in so often it's mixed with lust, or it can be mixed with I don't know, this like wanting somebody, almost like owning somebody, or and in this case it's just like it's kind of a love without any requirements. So it's kind of a, because they are not in a relationship, there's just this connection which is really strong. And I think that in this case the love is something that accepts you the way you are, and especially her story, because it begins in the moment, in a place and in environment where she is loved in a way, but I think it might be her own problem to accept the love, because she's so much trying to be something that she is not in the first place in the relationship with Irina. Like she's trying to be this kind of more intellectual than she actually is, and it creates a lot of problems to this relationship. So because I think this is one of the things that really connects human beings, this basic need of being, want to be loved the way we are, and then at the same time this fear to be seen the way we are.
Yeah. It seems that Laura is just discovering the way she is during this journey, and particularly the moment when she meets the other guy from Finland. Maybe in that moment she understands more that she has just to live apart, to live away, to leave behind her something that is not does not belong to her, really.
Yes, I don't know if it's about discovering yourself or accepting yourself. I think it's more about accepting that the way you are, the way she exists, that's enough, and she doesn't have to be anything else. And then this comparison between Ljoha, the Russian guy, and this Finnish guy maybe helps it, because this Finnish guy is also kind of a fake. He's carrying this funny role of this kind of a romantic traveler.
Yeah.
Like a teenage, some kind of a teenage dream.
Sorry.
Yeah, and it helps her to see through these kind of fake identities or fake roles that we are.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are like hiding behind those roles.
Was it difficult to shoot the movie inside a real train and then in that icy landscape?
Not really. I think not. Of course, it was not easy, and but I think filmmaking is always it's never easy. That's the nature of it. That's why it is so interesting but in this case, I think that all the challenges that we had were really interesting. To shoot in a real train compared to shooting those scenes in a studio, it's, for me personally, it's so much more inspiring and interesting than to work in a studio. And in both cases they have challenges, but in this case I think the challenges are nicer. And we started to shoot those. Our shooting started with like those train periods, so we shot all those train scenes in the beginning, and we did these long trips with the whole crew. So I think it also created nice atmosphere to our team. So it was nice to continue after that.
Okay.
And it was also nice to step out and to get a little bit more air after being so tight place like that train.
And maybe also shooting in a train was one of the reasons, beside your ability, why the movie is so realistic. You really feel you are close to the characters and together with them.
Yeah, that was really our aim, to create this feeling that you are there in the train with them. And we had different plans. Also, we had like these shots like outside from the train that we were supposed to do, but then when we were shooting, we felt that it doesn't really make sense, because it takes the audience to the totally different angle and different place and it doesn't really help to achieve this feeling that the audience is also there in the train with them. And I also think that this like train is so full of cinematic qualities. For example, the sound in the train. It's really amazing, because there is this rhythm and there's like many different kind of sound elements that you can use almost like a orchestra. And they, at the same time, they are realistic, but at the same time they are really cinematic. You can use them to create different kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, we could say that train is a sort of grandfather of cinema.
Yes, it is actually like the beginning of cinema. There was like this kind of a train, not just the train films, but also these cinemas that were like, I don't know, can't remember the name what they were called, but yes, there's a similarities.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you really for this, for answering our questions. I think that people will appreciate it a lot. They have the opportunity to see this conversation on our channels, and we will send them also inside the theater, so on the screen. So
okay,
thank you very much.
thank you. Grazie mille.